Hi there riders, Jason here and I hope you're doing well. Finally got my hands hold of a Dualtron Ultra 2. Personal favourite of mine for the last 2 years. I've been riding a Dualtron Ultra. We recently had a Dualtron Ultra come in, it had done 3,000 miles and all it needed was new brake pads. So I love this scooter, it's a tank, it's really well made, it's a strong scooter. Take a payload of 150 kilograms, so it is definitely big man certified. So any big riders that are looking for a strong scooter, definitely take a look at the Dualtron Ultra 2. Just a little bit of a breakdown on the scooter. They've got hold of the new 70 volt batteries, 35 amp. It's actually got dual 40 amp controllers, but they've over-engineered it so it can take any kind of load capacity pushing through those controllers. And another great thing is they've moved the controllers to the back, and I'll go on to that in a little bit. Maximum speed, 60 miles an hour, got a range of 70 miles, and hydraulics. They've moved to a hydraulics on this year's model. The old ones were cable actuated. I personally love these. It gives you a little bit more stopping power, especially on a scooter that can go 60 miles an hour, and with the weight that it is. iThrottle. Going on to where they've moved the motor controllers. This is a very smart move in what they're doing. Firstly, it avoids having overheating. The Dualtrons traditionally had the heat sink on the base, and that would disperse the heat. Problem is heat being dispersed means water can get in. Where they've moved it to now, it's pretty well protected. Electronics are great until they meet water, and where they've hidden it, it's very difficult to get to. So it isn't IP rated, but I've ridden this scooter in some pretty heavy conditions and it's still ticking. They've gone for a little bit of a different design with the folding handlebars. That's a personal preference. So if you're taking this into the back of the car, this is actually quite a good design. You could switch it out if it's not something you're going to be doing, it's going to be in and out of the garage. They are pretty solid, but for personal preference, I would go with the solid handlebars because it doesn't get folded down. All in all, what they've done, they've got a great base model and they haven't messed with it too much. And I like that. If it isn't broke, don't fix it. The only differences they've made is putting the motor controller placement there, 70 volt battery, so it's a juicier battery. In terms of riding, a lot of people get on these and go, the suspension's too stiff. Ride it. The suspension softens up. Don't be afraid that the minute you get hold of it, it does feel stiff. We've got scooters that have come back and they've done 1,000 miles and the suspension feels fantastic because they're broken in and they feel much better to ride. If you have a suspension that's too soft and that hasn't kind of customized to your own weight, you'll find that you bottom it out and you'll do damage to the undercarriage. So they haven't changed the suspension cartridges. It's still quite stiff out of the box, but don't be put off by that. I liked it because it gives me the opportunity to break them into my weight. So what you tend to find is when someone rides my Ultra, they find it too soft for them because I've made it that kind of compression level. Again, they've absolutely smashed it out of the park with a high level performance scooter. The only difference being that they have put LEDs on this. They haven't gone with too much overkill with the LEDs. When you've got an off-roader, the less moving parts or the less electronics or the less fanciness about it, the less susceptible it is to being broken. So they've just gone with a traditional LED strip. That's kind of their signature with Dualtron. And I like it that they haven't gone too crazy. If we look at its fellow flagship product, the Storm, which is heavily LED, that's a road-going unit, which isn't going to take the beating that Dualtron Ultra can take. My Dualtron Ultra has absolutely been hammered and ragged, and it is still ticking absolutely fine. The only servicing things that I've had to do on it was rear brake cable and brake pads. Otherwise, it's done 2,000 miles and it's still as quick as the first day that I've got it. Very torquey. The new 72 volt batteries give it explosive power. So if this is a scooter that you're looking at, get some experience on scooters that aren't as powerful and build your way up to it. If you are a big guy, what I would suggest doing is the first day that you get on it is turn it down. The iThrottle gives you complete customization, and you can take the power train from 100% down to 70%. Or you can just engage the eco mode. Otherwise, fantastic scooter. I haven't ridden this enough. What I have done is ridden it on concrete, and it is blisteringly quick. It's a lot quicker than last year's model. That 72 volt battery, and where the motor controllers are placed, keeps them cool, they don't overheat, and you're not going to get that fade. Give us a shout, we've got demo units available. Otherwise, enjoy Dualtron Ultra 2.